Quake is back, thanks to a Terrigen-fueled escape courtesy of Melinda May. But their victory may be short-lived, as Fitz works to finish the job that AIDA started. It's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, Season 4, Episode 19. All the Madam's Men. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So yes, spoilers are on the way, starting now. Alright, so, what a way to start an episode. That escape scene with Daisy and May. I missed these two fighting together. They choreographed their movements so well. It's just a back and forth. I mean, you can really see how May's teachings, created Daisy's warriorness even before she became Quake. And even this now on top of it, it was beautiful and it was nice. They started off the whole gun battle. We got the flips, we got the double guns, we got all of the action, and just when you think it's all fallen apart, we've got Madam Hydra just stalking up to him like, hey, you gotta stop, I'm the coolest chick in the room, and no, you are not. With that beautiful... That was just a beautiful shot. I'm glad they took the time for it. Nice, simple, straightforward, one blast, and Madam Hydra out the window and down. Thought for a moment actually that might have been the same elevator that Cap had the big fight in Winter Soldier. Different elevator set. Still though, just beautiful. It did bring in a lot of those same elevator fight scenes feeling though. And just a wonderful way to kick off the episode. Really sets everything up. We have Quake back, she has her power set back. We've got Melinda fighting with S.H.I.E.L.D. Yes, Mace's death. We've had a little debate in the comment section about the quality of Mace's death, being that he gave his life for a bunch of ones and zeros, as Jemma put it. But not so much as just living up to the life that Mace felt that he was supposed to do. We can debate that, but what his action really did was motivate May to switch sides. And that's what brings the team together and might be the catalyst that allows them to escape. So, again, really missing Mace. A lot of appropriate reflections back on him in this episode. I thought that was well done. It keeps his memory alive for all of us. But just a wonderful set-off for the episode and to get things going with just the right amount of power. But again, the attack on Madam Hydra has a couple of results. One, kicks AIDA out of the system. That was seeming appropriate. I guess if AIDA dies in there, it doesn't kill her. Would seem right. She was in a different setup. Now, there was a little moment of confusion, I have to say, when she dropped out of the system, because she was there in the little tube connectors along right next to everyone else. And last week, when she reacted to Mace's death, she wasn't in there. It looked like she just turned and walked out of the framework, her mental positioning in the framework there, and then just right into her body, which wandered into the room, where instead of she seems to actually need to be hooked up. So little inconsistency there. There also seemed to be, on second viewing last week, the look on Ada's face when she discovered Mace was dead out in the real world didn't seem the same happy joy that Madam Hydra did in the framework. And this all seems to come down to what Ada's really big plan is. See, outside of the framework, as AIDA, she is constricted by her programming. She is supposed to keep everyone alive, keep the framework running, all of that stuff. When she is in the framework, she doesn't have those restrictions, which is why she can have people go after the Patriot and do all of these things. So that seems to be the separation. Of course, that leads to why she wants to be a real girl, as we find out that the machine that they are building, courtesy of the Darkhold, very similar to Eli's machine way back in the beginning of the season, though Eli's machine was just to create matter. Ada's machine is to actually create a whole human body. She wants to be a real girl. And that would free her from her programming. That would give her the choice. So that is her whole plan. And of course, this leads us to a good couple of interesting possibilities. Is anybody else that's in the framework now could potentially come out as well. And that might shift things up. I'm not sure where they're going to go on to this. Certainly we seem to be able to have the temptation is going to be laid in front of Radcliffe. It seems to be what they were playing throughout the episode, maybe as a way to get him talking. But this does have kind of bigger ramifications for how they're going to deal with the whole framework situation. So her getting kicked out gives us that bits of info. We also get to see Anton again. Zach McGowan he's basically the muscle. He is building everything on the platform in the real world for AIDA, and that's the exchange. He's an LMD now, which is why he couldn't do any of that stuff. His head is still alive somewhere, controlling the LMD. If we're linking up to Anton, the superior, the Red Guardian from back in the comics, it seemed to be what was implied at the end of the LMD arc and in with that character. So, yes, we have we've got the superior running around Anton, but I think somewhere his head's in a box controlling that LMD is what we'll find out. That's sort of my guess of where they're at with that. So Anton is the muscle. He is guarding the machine. He is building it. While in the framework, we now have Fitz finishing the design of the machine off of what AIDA did. So that is Fitz's whole rest of the job throughout the episode, is to finish building the plans and then sending those plans out to the real world, and that will build the machine so AIDA can be free, be a real person. Now, as we saw with Daisy and May's escape from Hydra, as our heroes are together longer, as they're interacting more and more, they start to fall back into a lot of their old habits. As Madam Hydra says, we can't change the person that you are. You know, that starts to come out. We've got Mac the Protector and May the Warrior and Fitz the Romantic, which is why she's really able to so easily sort of manipulate Fitz now with Jemma out of the picture, or in the framework case, never being in the picture. But we see that through a lot of the rest of the characters as things go on. And we get some really nice moments out of that too. The scene a little with Ward and Coulson. I mean, Coulson specifically, the more he is in all of this, the more that he is interacting, he's really mostly falling back into a lot of his old habits, his old persona, the mentor, the advisor, really constantly throughout this, whether he's talking with Ward and trying to get him to calm down and think logically, or stepping in front of Mac, holding a gun to Ward, or to May, rather, right there, saying, we need to trust our allies. Somehow I know that I can trust this person. Yes, of course. But really throughout this, it's him stepping into that role, which is why we really have that wonderful, great end scene with him taking Bakshi's position. Love seeing Bakshi, and this is the head of the news propaganda division. That was just awesome. But seeing Phil finally step in and accept his role and who he is. And that starts with that scene with Ward and him. Again, really, really kind of a nice scene. And we are getting to see, they're illustrating a lot through these past few episodes of how a single event, a single thing can change the entire arc of your life. And for Ward, that was when it was not John Garrett that pulled him out of jail when he was a kid. It was Victoria Hand. And there's sort of a tragic joy to that moment also, because in the real world, it was Ward that ended up killing Victoria way back in season 1. Here it was Victoria that brought him into S.H.I.E.L.D, that showed him that he could be a good person, and then, of course, Skye convincing him that, making him believe it. But I thought it was just really appropriate seeing how that one singular event, that one change right there, really did change the entire arc of Ward's character. And by the same token, we have Phil starting to tell his story, how he was almost recruited into S.H.I.E.L.D, how somebody did come to try and pull him in. He said no, he was afraid. He wasn't sure that he could step up to that. That one little change, that one little choice, changing the entire arc of his life. Interesting enough, as they sort of imply with Phil's final statement there on the TV, is that it was Nick Fury that recruited him, or attempted to recruit him. With the big line is, a person can be much more once they figure out that they can be a part of something bigger. That was the same line that he joked with Garrett about way back in season 1. Again, there was that nice moment between Garrett and Phil and Nick Fury there. So it was really just, I think that was kind of appropriate. It shows that Nick still had that place in this world, and how maybe his attempt there didn't do things, and that allowed Phil to become a teacher, whereas in the real world, his saying yes to that created the Phil Coulson that we all know and love. So kind of very nice, very great moments. I loved watching Ward throughout this episode. A lot of real, especially when he runs back into Sky and he knows that this isn't the same person, and his just desire of, can I get my girl back? If you are gone, I will help you. I will do the right thing, but can I please just get my girl back? It was wonderful. It was nice. Like I said, this really gives a chance for Ward to have his sort of redemptive arc. And even as I suspected before, is that he was going to sacrifice himself for the team. He did. He was ready to step up for that. It was just sort of a wonderful twist of events that he ends up not having to, because instead of an army of Hydra soldiers coming in to try and shut off the transmission, it instead appears a whole bunch of regular people that are trying to step up to now fight against Hydra. And fighting against Hydra, of course, is part of what Mac does, and we get to see him, again, drifting into his normal position here, while we have Coulson stepping into the leader, the advisor, ready and willing to go. Mac as the protector, as AIDA has assigned him. Again, once he's there, he is, as much as he loves his daughter, as much as he wanted to step away, now that he is in the midst of it, he himself is following those same character traits. So, love those little moments too. Always just, I mean, it's great to see Mac. I love seeing Mac. Though, honestly, I also love seeing Trip too. Yeah, like Daisy said, that's the best news that I've heard in weeks. Wonderful seeing Trip back, kind of playing with Jemma there, going off on their little adventure to go and try and track down what the machine is being built, then of course realizing it's being built on the other side. But what we did get to see is the classic underwater base. It's just the Easter eggs, the little joyful moments in this. I am really loving, just including all of these small little things. You cannot have a Marvel supervillain without having an underwater base, or a base in a volcano, or anything else like that. So I was really excited to see that. It just sort of puts that extra little layer right on top of everything. All right, just a couple of brief things here. One, Alistair Fitz. Man, is that guy a piece of work. Every scene I see him in, I want someone to just punch him in the face. Intimidating father, and as much as he has tried to create a very strong Fitz, we can even see in those scenes that Fitz still is cowering in front of the power of his dad. A lot of issues there. Can't wait for Fitz to sort of break free from that. And it was great seeing those scenes between Alistair and Holden Radcliffe. Just how Radcliffe can see how much, it just his reflections back, his digging in. You can't hurt me. I know the real Alistair, who is just a drunk, so stubborn he can't recognize his kid's own genius. Man, I can't wait for Fitz to get back in the world. We go and punch his dad in the face. I just want the guy punched in the face, okay? That's what I want. You know, it's great seeing Daisy back with her Quake powers, and also not needing the gauntlets yet. She hasn't really busted up her wrists yet, so it's just kind of fun seeing her actions. Definitely versus grenade launcher. Very effective. Though I had to kind of laugh for just a moment, because if we remember how Terrigenesis works, it's not like there's necessarily a genetic thing that says what you're going to be. The way Terrigenesis works, at least in the comics, is as an Inhuman, you go through Terrigenesis, you are given the powers that are needed at the time. So it was great that she was able to go back and be Quake, because I just thought, like, what if she turned out like Reyna? She could see the future and have spikes, but that wouldn't be immediately effective in a combat situation. Just, you know, some little change like that. That would have been funny. Fun to see that Alternative Facts has officially entered the lexicon and being used quite appropriately in regards to Hydra. Also really fun seeing Anton's just pure frustration in not being able to kill Coulson or do any of that. It's just, and the fact that not even the vodka tastes right to him. It's just, His frustration at being inside that LMD just is hilarious. I'm really enjoying that. Oh, in regards to quotables, this episode was full of it. We had Maze. Whenever an enemy sacrifices himself to save you, you begin to question your side. Ward statement. Like it or not, this is the reality we live in. Kind of appropriate considering that he's in the framework. Coulson's, of course, in order to save ourselves, we'll have to save the world. And, of course, even better, my name is Phil Coulson, and I'm an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh, man, that filled my heart. Saying it publicly on TV. Something he can't do in the real world yet. Fix that, MCU. All right, so that's just going to wrap things up for this week. Just a couple episodes left before the end of this pause and our break for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So keep twittering at ABC to renew Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's going to happen. They're going to get another season, but let's just kind of push them as much as we can, everyone. That's your homework for the week. All right, if you did enjoy this review, please hit that like button. Thoughts, ideas, comments, you know where to put them in the section below. Let's keep this discussion up. I love seeing all of your insights. I love seeing all of the predictions. Just having some great conversations with all of you. So please keep it up. Let me know what you think about these episodes. Let's see. You can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram, of course, and that is at Darren Jakes. There it is right there. But you won't miss anything, of course, if you are a subscriber. You want to be a subscriber, right? Because not only do we have a few more episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we've got American Gods starting up this Sunday on Starz. That looks amazing. And then, of course, we will have Fear the Walking Dead and Game of Thrones coming up later on in the summer. So you don't want to miss that. And you won't if you're a subscriber. And you become a subscriber if you aren't by punching me in the face. Now just hit that little button right there with my face on it and you won't miss anything. And I will throw up our latest review right up here you can check out just in case you missed anything. All right, so that's going to be it. I'm D, and I'm out of here. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.